I didn't raise my voice. I didn't slam doors. I just started making calls. The first was to my lawyer, the second to my financial advisor, the third to my real estate agent. By sunset, I had set something in motion no one in my family could have imagined. My name is Robert Chen, I'm 63. For 14 years, I've been a stepfather to Victoria. When I married her mother, Patricia, Victoria was 18, fresh out of high school, full of dreams that changed every few months. I never claimed to be her father, I just wanted to be there, to help, to show up, and for 14 years I did. I paid for her tuition at UPC. I covered her apartment rent. I bought her car. I funded her first business venture. When it failed, I quietly cleared her debts. I helped her close it down properly. I moved her 4 times. I fixed her car 3 times. I drove her to the hospital when she was sick. I comforted her at 2 in the morning when life broke her heart. Patricia often said I spoiled her. Maybe I did. But Victoria was the closest thing I'd ever have to a daughter. My first marriage ended without children. This was my second chance at family. I wanted it right. 2 months ago, Victoria got engaged to Connor. He seemed perfect, stable, kind. They planned a September wedding at a vineyard in the Okanagan Valley. 200 guests, string quartet, imported flowers. Patricia asked how much we should contribute. I told her I'd cover everything. Victoria hugged me, tears in her eyes, called me the best stepfather she could have asked for. I smiled, thinking I had finally secured my place in the family. But I should have known better. 3 weeks ago, during a wedding planning meeting, her phone rang. It was her Uncle James, her father's brother. They spoke about the wedding. Then he said something that froze me. "I'm glad it's just family, Vicky. Your dad would have wanted that?" Victoria laughed. "Exactly. Just real family." I looked at Patricia. She didn't look up. Connor shifted uncomfortably. I asked what her uncle meant. Victoria said it wasn't a big deal. Then she said the words that changed everything. "Robert, I don't want you at the wedding." I froze. Her words hit me. "I don't want you at the wedding." The room went quiet. Connor shifted. Patricia didn't look up. Her silence said everything. I wanted to argue, to scream, but I didn't. I breathed. I stepped back. I let it land. "So you want me to pay but not attend?" I asked. She nodded. That was enough. I understood. I wasn't family, not to her, not to Patricia, an outsider after 14 years. Upstairs, I closed the door. I thought. Pain and clarity mixed. If they wanted me gone, I could disappear, but not while funding a wedding I wasn't welcome at. I picked up the phone. Dorothy answered. I told her everything. She listened. No interruptions. "Are you sure?" she asked. "Completely," I said. "Gerald next." I told him to separate all accounts. Clean, protected. He didn't ask again. "Marcus last." I said, "List the house immediately. No delays." "Fast, Robert. What's going on?" he asked. "Just making a change," I said. Over the next days, I moved through the house like a shadow. Patricia asked questions. I gave none. She saw the for sale sign. Stopped cold. "You can't do this," she whispered. I didn't answer. "I can," I said. She stared. I didn't explain. I didn't defend. I just let it sit. "The house, the binder of receipts, the signed silent messages," she cried. She begged. I left. Quiet, focused. I wasn't angry. Not really. I was calm, in control. I had been pushed out, so I stepped back. Completely. The world they knew me in no longer existed. I made space for myself. No arguments, no explanations, just presence withdrawn. The plan was set. My disappearance wouldn't be loud. It wouldn't need justification. It only needed to be complete. They had decided who mattered. I decided how I would walk away, and that was final. I sat in my new condo. Silence surrounded me. No calls, no emails, nothing, just me. I opened a notebook, lists, dates, amounts, everything Victoria and Patricia had taken for granted. 14 years of support, care, patience, all documented. I didn't want revenge in their eyes. I wanted control. Quiet, undeniable control. I called Dorothy. She paused. "Are you sure?" Her tone steady, but I caught the edge. "Completely," I said. "Gerald next. Accounts separated. Investments protected. Clean. No risk. No delay. Marcus last." "Fast, Robert. What's going on?" he asked. I smiled. "Just making a change." Over the next days, I moved through the house like a shadow. Patricia asked questions. I said nothing. She saw the for sale sign, stopped cold. "You can't do this," she whispered. I didn't answer. "I can," I said. She stared. I didn't explain. I didn't defend. I just let it sit. The house, the binder of receipts, the signed silent witnesses, every night I reviewed the binder. Every payment, every sacrifice, every moment logged. I added notes. Not to punish, not to create chaos, to show clarity, to show devotion ignored. I imagined their faces reading it for the first time. Not just money but care, commitment, stability. I calculated each move, scheduled every step, timing precise, the wedding weeks away. Patricia panicked, Victoria oblivious, Connor called, hesitant. I said nothing. Silence spoke for me. Every call, every email, every sign of change left just enough ambiguity to keep them unsettled. Micro steps, invisible but undeniable. No yelling, no pleading, just facts, evidence, proof of devotion overlooked. I wasn't angry, I wasn't bitter, I was methodical, focused, in control. The plan was set. When the first domino fell, they would see clearly. I would not react. I would remain calm, unseen, unshakable, invisible power at work. My disappearance would be complete, quiet, controlled, and by the time they understood, it would be too late to reverse. I had taken control, completely, finally. The weight of 14 years shifted, not lost, not wasted, but acknowledged. The sign went up early before the street was fully awake. Clean, white, final. Patricia noticed it from the kitchen window. She stopped moving, just stood there, staring. Minutes passed before she spoke. "You can't do this." Her voice was low, unsteady. I didn't look at her right away. I looked at the house instead, the porch, the driveway, the place where years had quietly stacked up. "I can," I said, nothing more. She waited for an explanation. It didn't come. After that, the calls started, one after another, friends first, then family, then people who hadn't spoken to us in years. Messages filled the phone. Voicemails piled up. I let them sit. I didn't block anyone. I just didn't respond. The binder stayed on the dining table, open, visible, receipts lined in order, statements printed clean, tuition payments, rent transfers, medical bills, emergency expenses, trips paid without discussion, not dramatic, not emotional, just documented. Anyone who flipped through it would understand what words couldn't explain. Patricia tried again, softer this time, then louder, then desperate. Her emotions moved fast. Mine didn't. I stayed quiet. I packed slowly, only essentials. Clothes, papers, a few personal things, nothing sentimental. The house felt different once I stopped filling the space, larger, colder, empty in a way that couldn't be fixed. When the listing went live, the street noticed, neighbors whispered. Cars slowed, people looked. Patricia watched it all unfold like it was happening to someone else. She asked if we could talk. I said no, not sharply, just clearly. There was nothing left to clarify, no argument waiting to happen, no misunderstanding to correct. The sale wasn't revenge. It wasn't punishment. It was closure done quietly. When the agent called with interest, I approved it without hesitation, no delays, no second thoughts. By then the house had already stopped feeling like mine. I didn't stay to see the reactions. I didn't wait for apologies. The silence handled everything. What had been removed was obvious. What remained was reality. I hadn't destroyed anything. I hadn't raised my voice. I hadn't demanded respect. I had simply stepped away and taken my presence with me, and that absence did exactly what it needed to do. Months passed. I settled into my new rhythm. Mornings began with quiet walks along the shoreline, coffee in hand, the water reflecting calm I hadn't felt in years. Evenings were for painting, letting colors speak where words had failed. I volunteered at the community center a few times a week, teaching financial literacy to young adults who listened eagerly, unaware of my past, open to guidance I could finally give freely. I joined a hiking group, discovering trails I'd never explored before, each step a reminder that I had chosen my own path. Reading became a ritual. Fiction, memoirs, finance, anything that kept my mind engaged and steady. My life was deliberate, full, and entirely mine. There were no arguments, no demands, no reminders of what I'd lost. Only presence, carefully curated, and time measured by choice, not obligation. Occasionally, I thought of Victoria. Rarely, and always from a distance. The anger I had carried faded into reflection. I remembered her words, her choices, and the binder, the house, the silence that had spoken louder than anything I could say. I understood the lesson completely. Control wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about making them see or apologize. It was about claiming space for myself, redirecting energy toward life I valued. That clarity became my constant companion. Every morning I felt it anew, the satisfaction of knowing I mattered in the only way that truly counted, to myself in my own life. Months later, a message appeared. Connor, polite, neutral. Victoria had a daughter, named Patricia. He wondered if I might ever want to talk. I read the message twice, considered responding, and deleted it. The choice was deliberate, calm, absolute. My life didn't require their validation or reconciliation. It required only my focus, my decisions, and the quiet fulfillment of days lived intentionally. I had mornings filled with sunlight on the water, evenings with paintbrushes and books. I hiked, I taught, I explored. I cultivated friendships without expectation. My calendar was mine. My thoughts mine. My actions deliberate and unhurried. Life had been simplified to essentials, peace, purpose, and autonomy. I didn't check social media, I didn't seek updates, I didn't dwell. Each day closed with a sense of quiet control, a self-earned dignity that no one could give or take away. I mattered, I had chosen it, and that was enough.